So when looking at the newest W206 C-Class, for me personally, I would certainly pick the C. Hey everyone, this is Zach with 8020 Automotive, here today with a video on the Mercedes C43 versus C63 AMG. Which one is better? Throughout this comparison, I'm mostly going to focus on those newer years, the W205 and W206. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into this comparison, starting off with C43 versus C63 AMG performance. The C43 and the W205 was available with the M276 3-liter twin turbocharged engine, delivering up to 380 horsepower. And in the newest W206, it's available with the M139 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, delivering up to 429 horsepower. On the other hand, looking at the C63 AMG, the W205 was available with the M177 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 engine, producing up to 500 horsepower. The modern W206 C63 AMG, it's powered by the M139L 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine, additionally with electric motors, producing up to 671 horsepower, so a pretty big power advantage for the newest C63 AMG. The C63 AMG is simply the more powerful vehicle between these cars in this comparison, and it is going to be the better performance car overall, especially when talking about power and straight line performance. However, in my opinion, the C63 really lost its main appeal with the newest W206 models, looking at the fact that both the C43 and C63 are powered by virtually the same M139 2-liter inline-4 engine. That's a big drawback to the C63 nowadays, that it lost its V8. So I think that's where the C63 has lost a lot of its competitive edge, not only against the C43 AMG, but even against other competitors like the BMW M3, where in the past it was easy to say you weren't too interested in M3 because the C63 had this powerful 4-liter V8, or even further back in the day when it had the 6.2-liter V8. But again, the main point here is the C63 is still going to be the better performance car between the C43 and C63 AMG. Moving on to the next topic in our comparison, we have handling and feel. Now, sticking with the trends talking about power and straight line performance, the C63 AMG is simply going to be the better handling car, both on paper and in the real world. It does hold higher grip throughout the corners, and it is going to deliver better track times in most situations. But one thing the C43 really has going for itself is if we look at the older W205 models, the C43 was actually available with the all-wheel drive drivetrain, whereas the C63 was limited to just being rear-wheel drive. And even looking at the modern W206 models, the biggest advantage for the C43 AMG here is that it weighs quite a bit less than the C63 AMG and has roughly a 250 to 500 pound weight advantage. So that lower weight is going to help make the C43 feel a little bit more nimble and a little bit more tossable around the corners. The C63 is still going to feel great, and again, it is going to deliver the better handling overall. Moving on to our next topic and talking about price, this is really where you're going to see the biggest benefit in favor of the C43 AMG. Looking at these cars brand new, the current MSRPs are roughly $65,000 for the C43 AMG and about $87,000 for the C63 AMG. So right there, that's a $22,000 price difference if you're looking to buy one of these cars brand new. And if you're looking to go used, the gap closes a little bit, but generally you're still going to be spending about $15,000 less on a similar C43 than you are on a similar C63 AMG, which is a big benefit, especially if you're looking to buy something used. That might be the difference in buying a 2023 C43 AMG versus buying a 2018 C63 AMG. So you're going to have the benefits of a newer car, warranty, etc. Now I could sit here and continue going on and on about specs to prove everything here that the C63 is going to be the more powerful, better performance car, but that's just too many numbers and really starts getting away from the main point. It's certainly no secret that the C63 AMG is going to be the more expensive and the better performance car between the two. However, the C43 AMG still delivers incredible performance, and again, it's likely enough performance to meet the wants and needs of most people in the market for one of these cars. And in my opinion, the C63 really lost its edge when Mercedes decided to ditch the V8 and move to the 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. Other than the power output, the specs on paper, and the straight line performance, and it is going to handle a little bit better as well. But outside of all of that, there's nothing really that special about the C63 AMG anymore. It's lost that edge with the V8. Now that gap has closed quite a bit, and really the biggest benefit or biggest reason to go for the C63 is just getting that extra bit of performance. So when looking at the newest W206 C-Class, for me personally, I would certainly pick the C43 AMG over the C63. I think it makes sense to save that money, get the cheaper car between the two, and still get great performance and a great daily driver out of the C43 AMG. Now where it gets a little more interesting, and I might lean towards the C63, is if I'm willing to make that trade-off of getting an older C63 and picking up one of the W205 models with the 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 engine. For me, that's a much more compelling option, but again, then you have that trade-off of not getting something a little bit newer that's still going to be under warranty, potentially be maintained a little bit better, etc. So it really just comes down to trade-offs and sacrifices and what you really value most in the cars. So of course, the best piece of advice is go check a couple out, test drive some C43 and C63 AMGs, and see which one really feels like the better fit for you, your budget, and your driving style. Anyway, guys, that wraps up our video for today. If you appreciated the content, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more in the future. Thanks, everyone.